It's the definition of do or die for West Ham United tonight. And breaking news in the last 20 seconds, Tati Castellanos will make his full West Ham United debut tonight at the London Stadium. We host Nottingham Forest in the relegation six-pointer, and I'm going to bring the lineup straight back up onto the screen as it's just been released on social media. And we do have Tati leading the line for West Ham United tonight. He is in the lineup poster, and here is that lineup. Areola in goal, a back four of Walker Peters. Todibo makes his return to the starting lineup, much needed alongside Konstantinos Mavropanos, thankfully. Skulls occupies left back. Fernandez, Souček comes into the side, and Paqueta in midfield. So Magassa drops out. Somerville, Bowen, and our new number 11, Tati, is the final player on the team sheet. Let's have a look at the bench. Is Magassa there? He is. Hermanson is the keeper, just one. Kilman, Pablo does make the bench. There was rumour today of him having a slight hamstring problem. Rodriguez, Magassa, Potts, Earthy, Kante, and Mayers is the subs bench for West Ham. So let's just reiterate here. So we're going for Areola in goal, and then a back four of Walker Peters. Todibo comes back in to replace Max Kilman, who is on the bench. So we've got that partnership of Todibo and Mavropanos, which is good. Skulls at left back. Fernandez as the sitter. Souček against Magassa. Souček replaces Magassa, sorry. Is another change from the game on Saturday against Wolves. So obviously Nuno deems that we need that extra physicality and height in the side. So he's opted for Souček over Magassa. Paqueta comes back into the side. There's no Potts there. And there's no Potts. Oh, there is Potts on the bench. Sorry, Marjorie. There's a lot of changes to go through here. So Todibo comes in. That's the first change. Souček comes in, that's a second change. Paqueta comes in, that's a third change. And Tati, and that's four changes for West Ham United tonight after the defeat against Wolves on Saturday. But the main big news is this man right here is going to make his West Ham United debut tonight. He signed from Lazio yesterday for around £29 million, and Tati Castellanos goes straight in to that starting lineup for West Ham United today. So obviously, an interesting point to pick up on is that Potts and Magassa are the two that Fernandez is the only midfielder that keeps his spot. Now, the midfield has been suggested to be the area where we have looked the most solid. Obviously, Nuno was displeased with what he saw from his midfield three on Saturday. I was displeased with everything I saw, to be honest. So you could have dropped any of them, but he decided to drop those two, and Fernandez retains his spot. We do have a roving reporter on the ground at the London Stadium, our very own Nigel, the Tash King. He's just messaged me 3 messages. It's dead here, i.e. the London Stadium. It's effing freezing, and I don't think a lot of people are going to come. So there is not a lot of confidence on the ground from our roving reporter Nigel. He's cold, he's displeased with the lack of people, and he is not too happy. But I am happy to see that starting lineup and to see a striker in there and another striker coming off of the bench. Interesting, there is no Callum Wilson on that bench. Make of that what you will. Right, let's get rid of this and let's take some of your comments before we go any further. That is very zoomed in. You don't want that much of me. Michael, hope you well. We need 1.3 points per game to stay up. So any draws and losses, we have to have the players on the pitch that will fight to win, not go through the motions with no yellows. Absolutely. We were a circus, terminating Wilson's contract, says it all. There's been conflicting reports regarding that story today, so we're not 100% sure. We haven't received clarification from a reliable source yet. However, him not being in the squad today is a pretty damning indictment of what is to come with Callum Wilson over the coming days. Michael, thanks for joining us. Kilman out is a good start. Ella Scott, I hope you are well. Full credit for the win on Saturday. You were very much deserving of it. No, Kilman is a massive boost for West Ham tonight. Absolutely. Sharky, hope you're well. Pablo did have a hamstring problem in early December. The West Ham way to sign injured players, but he has made the bench. So maybe 20 minutes ago, he could perform as an impact sub a little bit later on this evening. Jeffrey, I hope you are well. Thanks for joining us. Potts has had a couple of poor games. Absolutely, and you're right to highlight that. So I think that's probably some of the reasoning behind why Nuno has dropped him for tonight's game. My thoughts on it, I think it's baffling, to be honest. And if it does materialise and if it is confirmed, which I don't think it is at the moment, I'll do a video on it tomorrow. If we receive confirmation, I think it's ridiculous, to be totally honest. But I will leave that for the moment. Cold night, says Sharky. Absolutely. Terry, hope you are well. Frog in the World, thanks for joining us. Lee, wrong comment. Lee, thank you very much indeed. You can keep Kilman. No, you have him. Honestly, we should have left him in Wolves. We should have left him at Molineux because the bloke's useless. But yeah. Big up to the Wolves fan on the chat. Great crowd there on a Saturday. Respect, absolutely. It's always a brilliant atmosphere at Molineux. And despite the situation, I was impressed with their atmosphere. Once again, it was good, and they were thoroughly deserving of the 3 points. We're just about to load up the Nottingham Forest lineup so we can have a little gander through our opponents' lineup. That is coming up very, very shortly to us right here. Hit that like button if you haven't already right here on West Ham Official. 51 people watching. Let's get to a half century of likes on this video by the end of it. The Forest starting lineup is Matt Sales in goal, Williams, Murillo, Hudson-Odoi does return. There were some question marks over whether he'd be available, but he does start for the away side this evening. Anderson, Gibbs-White as captain, Dominguez, Jesus, Hutchinson, Milenkovic, he remembers him, and Anya is the final man in their lineup. Their subs bench is Gunn, Marato, Awiyani, Douglas Luiz, Caliamendo, McAtee, Bakwa, Savona, and Abbott McAtee, a player we were linked with in the summer, and we didn't get that deal over the line. It'll be pretty poor if that comes back to bite us on the backside today. But look, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am about this game tonight, to be honest. I'm ebbing and flowing from confidence to realism of we're going to lose 2-0 to maybe we are going to show some fight tonight. But let's have it right. This is it tonight. This is our final opportunity. We can't draw this game. We definitely can't lose this game. We need to win this game. We've had a 4-game period where we arguably needed to get between 9 and 12 points. We currently have 1 point out of 3 of them, and tonight is our final chance. If you look at the games we have coming up soon, we've got Spurs away, we've got Chelsea away, we've got tough games in the not so distant future. And if Nottingham Forest beat us tonight, they go to 7 points clear of safety. And it's not only 7 points, because then their goal difference is going to increase and ours is going to decrease. So the goal difference then pretty much establishes itself as a point. So we move 8 points away from safety. At this stage of the season, the way we're playing, I don't think we come back from that. I think that's irrecoverable. However, on the flip side, if we win tonight, we move within a point. We narrow the goal difference and we cling on to a thread of hope. So tonight is probably one of the biggest and most important games I can remember as a West Ham fan. Prague was vitally important, of course it was, but for very different reasons. For the purest reason of all about survival, tonight is monumental. It goes without saying, everybody knows it. There's a lot of disillusionment in the West Ham fan base, as it's been showcased on social media today with the lack of people that is reportedly going to turn up to the game tonight. There are a plethora of empty seats available on the ticket exchange on the West Ham website. People have sacked it off after Saturday, and who can blame them, because it was the worst I've ever seen. So this again is a game where the fans are needed tonight, and I'm not going to blame one. I mean, I'm not there, and that tells you everything you need to know. You know, I'm not there, and there's going to be a lot of people that won't be there tonight because A, it's inconvenient, and B, why bother when we just get served up dross day after day. But this is, yeah, this is massively important. We need to get out and get on the front foot early. And one thing and one reason why we are where we are is because we have got ourselves into good and positive positions, but we failed to, you know, carry on and push on and get the goal and get the advantage and sort of solidify ourselves into a game. That's what we need to do tonight. We need to be clinical in front of goal, and we need to shore things up at the back. If we don't do that, we will get relegated, and that can all but be confirmed by 10 o'clock tonight. That's how important this is. We can either have a bit of fight about us, or we can be, you know, wishing and waving goodbye to the Premier League. And at the end of the day, we have to win, and that I can't be clearer than that about it. Right, let's take some of your comments. Ground looked dead as a doornail, mate. There is no surprise there. I hope we win tonight. Absolutely, Craig. Absolutely, it is much, much needed. Will Tatty do the business? Is anyone aware if he is any good? I think we're all going to learn on the job, Terry, aren't we? To be honest, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be a learning curve for us all, and I just hope that he breaks the curse of strikers in this regime, and we can really have a player that knows where the goal is and is clinical and effective. Let's hope that good old Tatty can do the business for West Ham this evening. Thank you very much, Scott. That's greatly appreciated. The likes of Leeds, Forest, Wolves, Burnley have proper football grounds. That's like 10 points per season with fan atmosphere. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we know full well that if this was at the City Ground tonight, that place is bouncing. I mean, it is pretty much every game that I've been there. I've been there, what, 3 times now? Yeah, 3 times I've been to the City Ground, and it's always an electric atmosphere. I mean, you can put that in stark contrast to West Ham, can't you? It'll be dead in there tonight. It'll be silent. It'll be frustration galore. And at the end of the day, we've got to just try and find something. The players have got to stand up for once, and they've got to, they've got to muster something and show a bit of fight. Because what I saw on Saturday was a team that didn't care, a team that didn't want to fight. And especially when they walked over at the end to thank the fans, it was emotionless. They weren't really there. And all the other teams are showing a bit of fight. They may be poor, these teams we're coming up against in this relegation battle, but at least they're showing a bit of fight. We don't seem to be doing that at the moment. So that is what we have to do tonight. Fight, passion, desire, energy, pace, all of the above has got to be at the forefront of everything that West Ham does tonight. I thought Nuno's press conference was very reflective and very interesting yesterday. There was a video up on the channel that I did this morning about it, so go and check that out before kickoff if you haven't already. He put some interesting sound bites in. He sort of all but confirmed that Callum Wilson could be leaving through just the things he said. He also said that he regrets not going over to the away end, and he regrets going straight down the tunnel after the game on Saturday. He said he knew straight away that it was a mistake. So at least overall in the 20-minute press conference, he took accountability for what was the worst West Ham display I've ever seen. So that's all you could ask for in a press conference. A manager takes accountability, but that means absolutely nothing if we go out and repeat what we did tonight. I mean, you'd like to think the only way is up. You'd like to think it can't get any worse, but we've all been watching West Ham long enough to know that nothing surprises us. So we just have to live in hope, don't we? I doubt he's got a hamstring problem. So I heard that as well. But he's on the bench, so maybe he's fit enough for a while today. But we will see in that sense. We need 8 wins from 18. We have 3 from 20. Can we achieve it? I mean, it's going to be a miracle. It's going to take a miracle, but we're still mathematically in it. A prediction, here we go. 2-1 win, Bowen and Somerville goals. Well, if Somerville even gets on target, that's an achievement for him at the moment. But I love the optimism, and I'm trying to find it within me, to be honest. West Ham offering me tickets for £10. Sully desperate for cash, desperate for people to get in there. He wants bums on seats, doesn't he? And that's currently not what is happening. 2-0 win. Forest are so poor, I hope, Scott. But as you saw on Saturday, West Ham are very poor. So indeed, smash that like button. 54 people watching. Let's get to 50 likes. Come on, everyone watching live, hit that like button if you haven't already. An average of 1.3 goals needed, having just post 3-0 to Wolves with an XG of 0.25. Good grief. Yeah, absolutely. Heard on TalkSport you were looking at selling Bowen as he's worth more now than if you get relegated. Well, that is true. He's worth more now than if we get relegated, but he will not leave. I think there'll be riots if Bowen leaves this football club in January, and I cannot see it at all, to be honest, mate. It would take a pretty remarkable bid for him to leave the club in January. Forest are favourites to win, and you can't you can't argue with it, to be totally honest, can you? If you go down, will Bowen leave? Most likely, yeah, I think so. That's a fair assessment. Sharky, a member of the channel for 47 months. That is remarkable. Thank you very much indeed, my friend. Wan-Bissaka is coming back earlier than expected. The Democratic Republic of Congo lost moments ago 1-0 to Algeria. Get Wan-Bissaka on the next plane back. We need his pace. We need his energy. Swap Walker Peters over to the left-hand side and give Scholes a rest because he's He's struggling at the moment because Walker Peters is versatile. He can play either side. Wan-Bissaka on the right, Walker Peters on the left. Then we get Juve back and we get a bit more pace and quality reinstalled in our starting lineup. And then hopefully things can look a little bit better. As unfortunate as it sounds, we may play you in the Championship next season. That is a pretty real possibility at the moment, mate. I'm fair to say, but there we go. If we lose, does Nuno go? I'm going to say no. I think that we will. I think whatever happens, he will be here in May. Past May, I don't know, but I think he'll see out the season unless we lose the next 5 games in a row. That is what I will say. But yeah, Algeria won. Wan-Bissaka is coming home. That is very good. Great news for sure. Thoughts on Wilson getting released? I think is ridiculous, to be honest, mate. We have signed 2 strikers that have got not a minute of Premier League experience between them, and we have a proven Premier League striker, all right, who is 33 and can't play a lot and can have a limited impact, but I think it's very risky, very, very risky letting him go before even seeing these 2 players and what they're like, because we could end up with 2 absolute donkeys here, which isn't widely out of the realms of possibility. And then we are in an even worse position than we were before January. I think it's obscene, but let's see if it materialises. Our XG must be 0.00. No shots on target against Wolves. That aside looked too good to go down. Yeah. I mean, I said a couple of days ago, if you wouldn't have known which side were nearly out of the relegation zone or fighting for their lives in 18th and a side rock bottom, you'd have said that we are rock bottom. There we go. The football gods will give us a 2-0 win. I do hope so. I really hope so. We will see. What has happened to Nuno? Who knows? Who knows? Are you confident in the new striker tonight? I don't know, to be honest. I've got hope. I'm not going to say confidence. Time will tell. Confidence is strong. I'm going to say I've got a bit of hope, and I'm going to put a bit of trust in our recruitment policy, which has failed time and time again. Let's see what he's got. I'll tell you at 10 o'clock, Darren. If you come back on our match reaction at 10 p.m. on the final whistle, I will give you a more solid and extensive response to that. But at the moment, I am going to sit on the fence. I am aware of the splinters that are currently up my backside answering that question. 1-1 tonight from a Forest fan, Glyn. Thank you for joining us. Of course, be interesting to see your thoughts on this. Would you take a point tonight as a Forest fan? It's interesting you predicted a draw. It's obviously a massive game and a 6-pointer for both sides. It's Juve not even playing. That makes it even worse, doesn't it? I mean, it reduces the chance of him getting injured, but if he's not playing, then let's have him back because we desperately need his pace. Probably not his defensive ability at the moment because that seems to be pretty non-existent. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. Look, at the end of the day, I am a bit nervous about tonight. I don't get nerves about West Ham games too often anymore, but this just feels massive, doesn't it? And I've said it and I'll say it again. It just feels absolutely gigantic. Where if we lose, we go down. If we win, there's a chance. And then hopefully we can show a bit of fight. We've got maybe a good, maybe a bad distraction of the QPR and the FA Cup on Sunday. And then we return to it. Is it Spurs away, I think, is our next Premier League game after this. Now, if we show up there with a bit of hope, then you never know because that game can throw up some weird and wonderful results. But if we do what we did last year and go and get battered 4-1 or 4-0, whatever it was, with no hope, then again, we're back into trouble. So it's just a tough one. It's really difficult to know what West Ham will turn up, what Forest will turn up, because the fact and reality of it is that both of these teams are there for a reason. Both of these teams are 17th and 18th respectively for a reason because they are poor football teams, very, very poor football teams. It's just who can be better on the day. Put your score predictions into the live chat. If somebody could bring me up a drink from downstairs, that'd be greatly appreciated. I forgot. My apologies. We've just got to hope that we can get on the front foot early. Don't let Forest dictate the play because, all right, Forest are poor, so are we, but we're at home here. We beat them 3-0 in August, and that is something we have to take into it. I can't imagine there's something Nuno is currently saying in the dressing room right now, considering that it was Nuno who was managing Forest at the time that we beat them 3-0. But psychologically, for the player that for the players that played in that game, I know it was a bonkers, bizarre game, whereby it had 0-0 written all over it on the 82nd minute and we ended up winning 3-0. But That just shows if you're clinical against these sides like Forest, then you can get something out of the game, and that's what we've got to try and do. Thank you very much indeed. Bear with me. Good service in this house. Where was I? Yeah, psychologically, we won 3-0 in the last game we played against this side. So let's go out there and let's try and replicate that. That should be the message from Nuno: positivity. And as a side point, Mark Noble should be in that dressing room right now. Mark Noble should be in there reinstalling the reason and the importance of the West Ham badge, of the West Ham way, of the fight, the care, the passion, the desire that is not requested, that's required. It's not, it's not optional, it's essential, it's compulsory. And I saw not an ounce of care and passion on Saturday. That needs to change quickly. Otherwise, the London Stadium will shift. It'll be very, very toxic tonight. You're expecting on the 15 minutes for the no more BS red card protest to reappear. We're on Sky tonight, so that should get a bit of media coverage on the TV, because certainly from where I was stood in Molineux on Saturday, it was pretty noticeable if you looked at the away end on that time. But yeah, that will be reappearing today, and we've just got to hope, haven't we? It is the hope that kills you, but at the end of the day, just got to hope that West Ham turn up and something clicks. And as somebody commented earlier, the football gods are coming down on us tonight, because boy, do we need just a bit of luck, a goal off someone's backside, or just something to go our way, because it feels like, yeah, we're not playing well, but nothing's going our way. So just a bit. I mean, if we win 1-0 off of somebody's backside, then who cares? Let's see a good performance. Let's get players around this tatty fella. Castellanos, let's hope he's a good player, because he's 30 million quid's worth, but let's hope that, he's not a miracle worker. So get people around him. Let's see. I'm always glad Paqueta is back in that side tonight, because the link-up play between Castellanos and Paqueta could be the difference tonight. I thought we wouldn't miss Paqueta on Saturday. That's why I'm sat here and not in the dugout, because we did miss Paqueta on Saturday, believe it or not. He has been poor, but we missed his passing, which seems funny because he does sort of give it away too often, but we missed his outlet. We missed him massively. So Paqueta back in the side. If we can get the ball to him and get him close to Tati, then we could have a bit of a link up there, which could be beneficial. And run at Murillo and run at their centre arse and their back line, because what have we got to lose now? Everything that we've done hasn't worked. We need to rip up the blueprint. We need to rip up the game plan from Saturday and start again. Let's try something different, and let's really have a go. If we have a go tonight and we are simply outplayed and we go down, then people aren't going to moan about tonight. They'll moan about Saturday. If we go tonight and replicate what we did on Saturday, people are going to pinpoint these two games and say that is where relegation was decided. So it cannot be 7 points by 10 o'clock tonight. The gap cannot be 7 points. It needs to be 1 point, and then we have a bit of hope. Then all of a sudden, if we win tomorrow, then maybe, hopefully, I'm sorry, if we win tonight, then we win on Sunday against QPR. The confidence we have going into Spurs away, a game, as I said, that throws up funny results, a derby, anything can happen. We always seem to turn up against them, barring a few anomalies. So let's go out there and let's just give it our all. Let's look like we want to win the game. Let's look like that we're actually in a relegation battle and we care about it. Because in games gone by, it looks like there's not a care in the world, and it seems like we're the only people that care around this place. So that is the requirement for me tonight. Let's have a look here. Can't get away from 2-0 to Forest. That's what I predicted last night. I hope against hope that isn't the case. But I have a bad case of West Hamitis coming on. That's never good. That's never good. And of course, if you've seen the video from Saturday, Terry did predict what would happen at Wolves startlingly well. What was it, Terry? Are we going to score? No. Are we going to win? No. Are we going to get relegated? Yes. Have we got any more questions? No. Jolly good. So let's hope, Terry, that you're wrong tonight, because you were very much right on Saturday. Paqueta to Spurs, that won't happen. They've made the mistake with Kuda. Surely they won't go even worse and go for Paqueta, but there we are. 3-0 West Ham. Look at this. Lovely stuff. 3-0 West Ham, Bowen twice, and Paqueta. That'll be really nice. Look at the confidence coming in here. 3-1 to the Cockney boys. Come on, you Lions. I think there was a 3-3 predicted in here somewhere. I don't know where that's gone. There we go. 3-3 from Johnny. I love that. I love that. Well, not really, because we need to win. But I don't quite know how you're seeing us scoring 3 goals. We can definitely concede 3 goals. I present to you Saturday. But us scoring 3 goals, I respect that a lot. But we do need the win, don't we? Genuinely fancied a Tatty goal tonight. Don't know why. Going to go 2-1. If I had £1 for every time that I've sat here on a show before a debut of a striker and said, let's hope that he scores on his debut, I'd probably have about £8. But all jokes aside, it is crucial tonight that he has a good game. He needs to lead from the front. I know it's his debut. I know it's his first game in Premier League football, in English football. I know it's a tough ask. I know he's only had 1 training session, all the rest of it. But let's hope this bloke can pluck something out of the air, because we need a bit of luck and positivity at this point, don't we? So I like your sentiment, and I hope that you're right and we see a Tatty goal this evening. Johnny, because we played so bad last time out, for the sake of the players I'm choosing, they turn it around 3-1. There we go. We're finding some confidence and optimism. I like it. Yeah, I echo this. Just don't know what to expect. Me too. I am exactly the same. My prediction is the team that scores first wins. I think that's a pretty safe bet, to be honest. We will have an idea by 10 tonight, by 10 p.m. tonight, of what to expect. Absolutely. A decent ref would be nice. Keep our heads, no daft bookings. That's a very good point. Did we have a game plan on Saturday? It very much didn't look like that. Burger and chips and a kids' meal was the plan. That was the game plan for Saturday, and some nice fish fingers too. I worry even if we do score, Nuno will go the defensive route again. Indeed. The weather is colder than a mother-in-law's kiss. Sharky, I'm sensing your dissatisfaction with the weather conditions this evening. So well done for braving it, because I certainly haven't. But there we are. Michael says, should go back to basics, 4-4-2. No teams are set up to defend 2 strikers anymore. Exactly. Let's go old school. Let's, if we need a goal with 20 minutes to go, keep Tatty on and go, you know what? Let's chuck Pablo on as well, and see what we can get from it. If we go 1 up, go for the second, not defending it. Absolutely, yeah. If we go 1 up, go again and try and kill the game off. Don't go, oh, let's sit back and try and maintain that goal lead, because we've shown time and time again that does not work. Does the host have a joke? The host does have a joke. What does the garlic do when it gets hot? That is your joke. I've got nobody here to bounce it off of. So in the comment section, what does a garlic do when it gets hot? And I will get your thoughts on that when they come through. 2-0 to the West Ham. Both goals to Tatty. I like it. Areola straight out of play in the 3rd minute. Nice and early today, I reckon. Ryan, hope you well. 5 minutes, Forest hit the lead. I hope that's not the case, but wouldn't be surprised if it was. Yeah, I do agree with you, because it's got that sort of feeling where we're either going to just about scrape a win, or it's going to be yet another devastating defeat, which could consolidate West Ham's relegation. News from Jacob Steinberg just coming out now, which I have now lost. It is gone. There we go. Callum Wilson was due to be in the West Ham squad, but was withdrawn from it today. So that's interesting. So he was said to be in the squad, but no, he is not there. So interesting. So that does play more into the hands of, is he going to leave the club potentially tomorrow? Right, so returning to the joke, what does garlic do when it gets hot? It turns brown. It's not the punchline. Any other thoughts? Any other guesses on the punchline before I reveal the cracking joke to you all? It changed the bulb. No, that is very good, but no. Let's have a little look at the starting lineup before I leave you once again. Terry has it. It takes its clothes off. Very good, Mr. Newsham. It's almost like our brains and joke books are interlinked, isn't it? That is the correct. Yeah, see, Terry's got it right. He's getting a lot right this week in the last few days. But anyway, before I leave you, let's have a little reiteration of the West Ham lineup Tonight it's four changes. There's Areola in goal, a back four of Walker Peters. Todibo returns alongside Mavropanos and Ollie Scholes. In the midfield, Fernandez is the only player that keeps his spot from the midfield on Saturday. Fernandez and Suchek and Paqueta replace Potts and Magassa. Somerville and Bowen retain their spots. Tati replaces Callum Wilson. There we go. A bit of a brain fade there. Tati replaces Callum Wilson, who is not even on the bench for West Ham this evening. Talking of the bench, Hermanson, Kilman, Pablo, Rodriguez, Magassa, Potts, Earthy, Kante, and Mayers. So you've got Pablo as the predominant attacking threat to come off of the bench for West Ham this evening. No Jay, both Tatis to sorry. No, Jay, both Tatis to score. Tati. Oh, okay. Suchek and right. Okay. Thank you very much for the clarification. So Suchek and Tati to score in Michael's 2-0 prediction. Boom. I'm here all week as well. We're both here all week. Superb, Terry. Absolutely superb. What do you think of the lineup? I think, yeah. I don't think I'd have changed anything with it. I think there's probably an argument that one of the two midfielders could have kept their spot, but and again, I do understand why he's gone with it. He needed to change it. He couldn't have replicated Saturday because that's just a definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So he's made 4 changes, which is a little bit unlike Nuno. I know some of them were enforced on Saturday due to injury concerns, but to have Todibo and Paqueta back from injury is a boost, and he's changed the midfield around. So you can't say he's not trying, Nuno, and I just hope that it works this evening. But cheers to you all. My prediction, drum roll please. I said 2-0 on the preview on Sunday. I have found some confidence. Yeah, I know. Put it on the calendar. I found some confidence, and I reckon West Ham are going to win 2-1. I've got a feeling that Forest will score because we never ever keep a clean sheet. As Larry mentions to us on every preview show, there will be no clean sheet because that's just un-West Ham-like. I think we will win 2-1. Don't tell me where that confidence is coming from you guys. There's a lot of positive predictions that have come through in the chat, so I've joined the club. 2-1 West Ham, a goal on debut for our mate Tati Castellanos, and I'm feeling a Suchek goal tonight. I'm going to agree with Michael, maybe from a corner if we get it past the first man. But there we are. Thanks everybody for getting involved in the live chat this evening. Greatly appreciated. I will see you all back here on the full-time whistle. Do not forget, 10 o'clock on the dot, I will be here. Well, hopefully there is this smile on my face and not this miserable frown after another West Ham defeat. Thoughts in the comment section. Thanks everybody for getting involved in the live chat. And from me, come on you Irons. And this just feels so massive for West Ham tonight. So let's hope that the boys do the job. Otherwise, we are in even more trouble than we're in now. That just feels impossible. But thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.